Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen, where we trade movies and back and forth. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host, my running mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey, thank you for having me back. Long live Bahubali.
Indeed.
We're continuing our weird format this week. We were suggested by a commenter on our RRR video to watch Bahubali 1: The Beginning. He recommended that we watch Bahubali, and so we watched Bahubali 1.
Yes.
The first one, the original Bahubali, The Beginning, last week, and I mean,
loved it.
we had to watch the second one.
Yes.
So because we were both going to watch it, why not go ahead and cover it here?
Yeah.
We were both obviously going to be watching it.
Exactly. It's like, well, this makes things easier for us. We're covering it next week, right? That's just how I finished the movie. Well, it was, oh, no, cliffhanger. Why? So we're watching this movie next week, right? This is just what we're doing. But, yes, Bahubali 2, The Conclusion, is the movie that we watched this week. Still stars the same actors as before, Provas as our lead character.
Oh, correct. Yeah. So it was released in 2017. It still is of course directed by S.S. Rajamouli, story and screenplay by S.S. Rajamouli and his father, and it stars Prabhas, Rana Dagubati as our main villain, and Anushka Shetty as our love interest now in the past, I believe. No, I'm sorry. That is our Queen Mother.
Okay. Yes, Queen Mother Sivagami.
No, Anushka Shetty is our love interest Devisana.
Oh, Devisana. The Queen Mother is Sivagami. Devisana. Right. Okay. Gotcha. Right? Yeah, Devisina and Devisana.
Yes, is our love interest. Okay. And then we have Ramya Krishnan as Sivagami.
Okay.
So, this little bio is when Shiva, the son of Bahubali, learns about his heritage, he begins to look for answers. His story is juxtaposed with past events that unfolded in the Mahishmati kingdom.
Yeah, Mahishmati is something. Yeah, Mahishmati.
Yeah. So what were you anticipating? I mean, we kind of already went over what we were expecting
in
the last episode.
As opposed to last time where it was wacky shit, cool story, and a cliffhanger because it was called The Beginning. Well, now, after watching The Beginning, I was still expecting the wacky shit and cool story because I got that anyway the last time. But now I expected a vengeance quest, as well as, the conclusion. It's called The Conclusion. But more of the same. I was interested, considering this is kind of a halfway point filmmaking wise between part 1 and RRR. I was interested on how that's going to, the differences in those would, kind of meld in directing style between the two with this. So I was kind of looking forward to that, seeing further development of Rajamouli.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think you nailed it on my thoughts too. I was kind of expecting the mirrored version of what we got in the first movie. A bunch of the past to start us, resulting in
The Roger Mooley special. All right, we're halfway through the movie. All right, back to the actual like just whole story that I wanted to tell this movie. Not that
Yeah.
I'm complaining about it. I mentioned noticing that like movies are very good split that way.
Absolutely. Let's jump right into like initial reactions, standout moments. What do you got?
My initial reaction is the same as I say every time. The soundtracks and OSTs they choose for these things, while I don't understand a lot of the words, obviously, I love the fact that he's got these narration songs where like in RRR, there this in when bloodshed between the brothers, oh no, a betrayal, and do. And then this movie starts up again just like, this is a tale about a Bahubali. It's like, I love this. I love the narration choir thing. Sivigami remaining awesome, as well as Bahubali and Katapa just at the beginning of the movie, just everyone's just doing badass things right off the bat. And then we finally meet because we wanted to know what happened to young Devastator in the previous movie. We're like, we still haven't met. This
Right.
one. Of course she's a badass too. He's like murking people, and it was cool seeing that open. That's like my first standout moment was like the scene like but where they're meeting each other like on a battlefield while he's like saving her from bandits while not saving her from bandits. Wasn't exactly sure what was going on. This family has weird ways of courtship.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
But yeah, it was. I had a smile on my face pretty fast. You like early on?
Oh yeah. I'm really enjoying this film. I unfortunately was so wrapped up into it that I took 0 notes for this one. So I'm just kind of following along with you
Gotcha.
on your notes because it's I don't know, this one I know I enjoyed it, but it does feel like a little bit of a blur. Until we start to get into the Prince and the Pauper story, the fake pauper.
We had reverse Lion. We had Lion King last movie. Now we have reverse Aladdin.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to impress the princess by pretending he's poor, as opposed to being a poor man pretending he's rich and lying to the princess while his travel companion's like, dude, just tell her who you are. Why are we going through the charade? Nah, it's gotta go.
Why he's got to be like a simpleton?
Like, what good are you doing making this other guy look good? And you can tell she knows something's up the whole time. She's like, this motherfucker ain't doing this shit. What the food? And the arrows when they're hunting the boars and bouncing off of shit, it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, until we get heavily into those moments, the opening is a little bit of a blur to me.
That's fair.
But then once we get into that, we also get the reverse side at the home kingdom, where for me, the big standout of this movie is the Queen Mother's performance. I thought she is incredible in this movie.
Yeah.
The villain is also really good in the flashbacks, and I love how Rajamouli plays it. It could be like honestly, I was expecting a really A to B to C to D plot line of very predictable of like, okay, he goes and he gets the girl, and then eventually brother makes his play for the throne, and then then he gets the throne. But the complexities that he put into all of that, and the choices that he made the villain make of of like, refusing those gifts from the Queen Mother and all of that. I think all of that in this sequence while Bahubali's doing his "I'm a dummy" thing over in the other kingdom, I think are really interesting, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah, I did like Baladeva and Dad's. Well, I didn't like them because you're scheming against the protagonist. Damn you! I
Right.
loved the from a villain standpoint, like the way they approached it for the most part and everything, and the scheming ways he did it. It was because at
I
first,
mean, back to Lion King. Nobody likes Scar, but everybody likes Scar.
yeah,
Yeah, because he's Scar. I
yeah,
mean, he's the coolest, but you don't like him, but you like him.
true, true, but yeah,
It's
he's
like the
sitting.
best villain.
I agree. But he's sitting here and he's scheming behind the scenes, and he leaves the viewer just almost as confused as Sivagami sometimes because he seems like he's as evil as he is, but then he just turns and does something different. It's like, wait, why wouldn't you evil? This is perfect for you, type shit, and it didn't really ever, but when it plays out, it's like, oh shit, you were playing 4D chess in this bitch, and like, oh, something's happening, and you can see the dad who is evil getting up or trying to get ready to do stuff, and him having him like sit
Ooh,
down.
that's great. That's great. He's like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
3 minutes from now, old man. Hold, now. Go.
Yeah.
He is extremely calculating, and I think the Queen Mother plays getting slowly turned by him very well, and that's also credit to the the script and the story. I think she is. We as an audience are convincingly shown why this region renowned intelligent woman is being manipulated by this man who's also her son. So he has
Son
an
and
added
husband.
benefit. He has his son and husband. Although she it feels like she fucking hates her husband, and like
he's still able to get her ear and talk to her and convince her as well. Like it's the tag team of the two. He's because she ignores a lot of the stuff her husband says, but as what the son's doing, him being there helps her like at night. Why he's like, I'm just scared Bahubali is gonna do something crazy, man. I'm telling you, you don't listen to me, but it's gonna happen. Small Skeeter said, I'm still telling you this. And you see her listening more and more while also doing her, look that she does a lot in the movie. I was like, oh, what's she about to do?
I read somewhere in the in just the little trivia factoids that SS Rajamouli's father, who is the story credit on I think almost all of his work, his original story pitch began as a movie about the Queen Mother and her story. And as he started to build it out and break it out, he eventually was like, this Bahubali guy is actually pretty cool. You know what? Movies about Bahubali now.
I could see that. I could see definitely just falling in love with like one of your own characters and just being like, yeah, this is your story now. it was her story. She'll still be ridiculous, but this is your story now.
Yeah.
And but just jumping around with like Standout and cool shit because the movie is what it is. It's The story, we like you said, we're pretty much going through the fall of the original Bahubali, Amahindra Bahubali. We're going over the fall of him, or rise and fall, as it were.
Well, yeah, because we're spoilers. We know.
Yeah.
We know this ends in the brother being king and Bahubali being dead.
Yes.
And it being by Katapa's hand.
Yeah.
And so you already kind of know. You're like, all right, well,
when is this?
He's a slave to the throne. Somehow, he's going to be ordered to do this.
Exactly.
Or I was playing on him being the one manipulated. Yeah. Somehow he's going to be convinced that Bahubali is a threat to the kingdom, kind of thing.
And as did I. I thought it would be a similar thing, but it ends up being the opposite. She gets convinced, and he just, because of his slave to the crown deal, he has to do it, but he was never convinced that Bahubali was actually evil.
Yeah, because the Queen Mother is not going to let her other son do the deed.
Right.
And so when he initially refuses, the Queen Mother's like, all right, well then I'm going to have to do this. Do you want me to have to do this? And then that's what makes him, because of his extreme loyalty, does the deed. But yeah, that's what I mean. Just to highlight real quickly all of the different silly scenarios in courtship for Bahubali.
Okay. Yeah.
The hunting and pretending to not be shooting the arrows. And and just in all, those like three little scenes where he's secretly badass, and giving the shine to this other guy, all the way leading up to the moment that kingdom's palace is attacked, which we can talk about a little bit more, but just specifically highlighting that dude. And when Bahubali senses that moment and gives him a dagger and is like, you're going to defend this room of people.
We talked about his speech skills last part. Yeah. It continues. He speaks this man into being a badass.
And later he says that moment that he actually kicked him in the stomach, when he thought Bahubali was just acting crazy and trying to get to the princess. That moment that he kicked him in the stomach is when he knew that he was stronger than he ever allowed himself to be. So he had full confidence in leaving that room with those women and children, protected by just that man. He knew that he had it in him, and his whole. Unfortunately, he has a big arc in this movie across this long movie, and unfortunately, it ends in tragedy. But you grow to love this guy. You absolutely grow to love this guy.
And that speech powered him up not once but twice. He got powered up by the speech, and then he got powered up by the memory of the speech. He put that shit on repeat. He was like, round 2, let's go. Like, oh shit, I wrote his name down here. The character's name. It's Varma, something like that. Something Varma, or along those lines. Him.
I do not have it on hand, unfortunately, for IMDb.
He was awesome. In his own way. Like, you do start off not liking him, or at first I was like, what is the deal with this dude? Can we get rid of him? Not so much that I didn't like him, but I'm like, why is he here? But he does grow, and you, like you said, you do grow to love this guy, like, as a character, because he has a whole ass character arc.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like a smug little rich dude in this like kingdom's terms, and Bahubali, like you said, levels him up not once but twice, and then he is, with great power from the gift of Bahubali, does not take it poorly, immediately becomes a humble, cool ass dude. Like, not only does Bahubali bless you with like strength and fighting ability, but you're also just like a completely at ease human being now, who just like is like is at like perfect existence level. And yeah, you gotta love him.
It gets a lot of that throughout the movie, but yeah, the attack on the castle was crazy, like you mentioned. Was that where fucking dude showed off his fucking like super speed shit?
I believe that would be the moment where he just blips.
Yeah.
We only ever see it once, but yeah, there is a moment where he literally flashes.
Yeah,
a la DC the Flash, just out of there. And everyone that he's standing with, including the love interest, is just like, okay, I guess we're gonna run now too, but obviously not that fast.
And then of course the theme music starts playing, where they gotta start talking about how
this
awesome
main character is awesome. No one can possibly beat him. Until one day it ends in tragedy.
Pretty much. I'm like, well, this battle's over essentially. They started playing the music. I mean, you're done. And he's got super speed now. All right. Yeah. Here he goes playing Dynasty.
He destroys a dam. And just like, yeah, oh yeah, and he has his Dynasty Warriors moment, as you alluded to.
In this movie, he's like, oh, here he is playing Dynasty Warriors for the second or third time.
Just full sprint, just like.
Yeah, he saves the day. Eventually, you had the hallway where he reveals himself to the princess as, I am who you thought I was.
Right, the like multi-arrow dance fight.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, because earlier someone told her you can't shoot 2 arrows at the same time, and this dude comes around the corner.
3. Yeah. And you hold it in reverse. We all know how to shoot 3 arrows now.
Yeah. And he just shot him in multiple directions, and then showing off with shit like, yeah, have you ever Wolverine clawed as a kid? But you hold it upside down. That's the way to do it. Perfect accuracy, because of course he has perfect accuracy.
Right.
Even one point, just like after they kill a bunch of people, he just turns and shoots the arrows at her, and they just barely like graze her earrings to kill 3 people who were coming around the corner.
who haven't even revealed themselves yet.
They're coming around the corner. They weren't there when he shot the arrows. He just knew that they
did that. They did that for dudes coming into the window too. They fired arrows at the window long before a head ever even popped up out of the window, and then boom.
I love it. But they're like, all right.
This is true love, right?
Yeah, this is true love. We know who we are. Let's go back to the kingdom, because due to the scheming, there's been a bit of a mix-up where they think the Queen Mother would be okay with Bahubali and Devasena hooking up, but not knowing that she has promised Devasena to Baladeva and told Bahubali to bring her back.
Right, because that's his 4D chess move. It's so fucking good. It's so good. He's like, no matter what, this is going to end well for me. Either I get this wife, and then I just make some other move for the throne later, or this completely destabilizes my entire fucking family.
And they go back on this fucking swan boat. I'm not sure what the fuck that whole sequence was about. But there,
I was gonna hold it to the end, but that's a good carry into a thought of like, I wasn't super into the music sequences of this movie.
Okay.
compared to past Rajamouli films. None of the tunes really grabbed me on this one.
I'll give you that. But why the
Like
swan
the
boat?
actual music sequences, not like Omari was saying earlier of like those narration score songs
Yeah.
of like this character is fucking badass. But
But
like the actual like musical numbers, and I would consider that Swan Boat
oh,
one.
that's definitely a dance number thing. But it was just weird. The clouds turning into horses. We're flying in the sky. It's just what is happening? It's
We're like metaphorically in the in these two characters in love. Like this is what the ocean looks like to them as they're sailing back, kind of thing.
we're reaching high levels of Rajamouli madness. And it's okay. I'm here for it, but at the same time, what? But yeah, to get back and the coronation scene where he tries to come in like, "Hey, I got the." Oh no! You get back, you have the whole breakdown between the
Right,
two of them.
like and like our Devisana
Okay.
is clearly grown up with a certain amount of personal liberties
She does not help the situation at
that
all.
she is expected to carry over, and that is not necessarily the case as far as Sivagami is concerned. Like we find out at around this point in the movie that the character that we have been shown to be infallible, the most brilliant mind in the land, and all of this actually does have some faults to her. One of them is maybe a little bit too much loyalty to the traditions of her land and to the fact that she has been right a lot and being
Built up
and
a
being
sense of
surrounded
infallibility.
being surrounded by kind of yes people is it seems like might be what's going on in her kingdom. And so although her kingdom does prosper, like it doesn't mean that she doesn't have the ability to be wrong.
Correct.
And she's gotten to that point where she kind of acts like she doesn't have the ability to be wrong. So Devisana definitely brings up some points, but it is very distasteful to do it in that manner in court, like in public court.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm saying. She didn't help the situation. Whether or not she was right, you had two very strong personalities going at each other.
Yeah.
And
like
that
if we've
never
learned
ends well.
anything from watching Game of Thrones, you leave that courtroom not engaged or married to anybody, and then you talk about it in private. Because you don't want all those people in that room to hear you fucking talk back in the queen like that. You can't
Yeah.
like you can't have all of those. Like I understand why and how the queen mother gets so pissed in these moments, because she in the same go while we're talking about it, it's just kind of because it's kind of the same scene later in the baby shower.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that in front of all those people. Like maybe you could be that open vocally in a private room with like two two assistants kind of moment.
Kind of like later in the movie where a dude's like, I'm saying it.
Right.
And you're going to have to listen. No one's here to throw you up, but you're going to need to listen to this.
Yeah. When dad is, like that. So yeah, the Devisana really, although she is technically right in her moral stances, it is also technically inappropriate in its timing.
Yes.
And puts her husband in terrible positions because of the timing of her smart mouth.
Yeah.
And that's coming from someone who tends to have a very smart ass mouth. So I can appreciate someone who can talk back.
Yeah.
But you gotta pick your
Pick your battles.
timing.
I agree with you on all counts when it comes to that. But yeah, she ends up.
But the coronation is what you wanted to talk about before I went down that road.
She cost him the crown, which meant that
literally cost him the crown. Queen Mother was like, "All right, here's how it's going to fucking be, because both of you have now disrespected me in the middle of this courtroom. Is you can either choose to be king or you can choose to marry her. End of story." And Bahubali, he's that dude.
Yeah.
So he's obviously going to choose love.
Yep. And
he seems cool with it.
Yeah, he accepts it immediately. He's like, okay, I'm general now. Fuck it. And you have the coronation scene with everybody's entrances, and the way they come out is ridiculous in and of himself. You got the goddamn them giving the oaths, and then the crowd being like, okay, we're listening to all of this, and then they wait until both people have been okay saying that they did this. Then they're like, fuck that, Bahubali should be king. Bahubali. There's a whole thing. Bahubali.
Yeah, if you gotta, like, the people who are holding staffs start stamping their staffs. People like holding sword and shield start clanging their sword and shield, and to the point where the entire building starts to shake and the throne starts to tremble under the king sitting on it, and the umbrella that's shading him falls, and Bahubali, without even looking, just catches it
and puts it
holds
back.
it, and stands at attention next to it. Like,
and then, so that just pisses them off to the point to where baby shower and whole bunch of other shit leading to
and that's the moment when we can see his brother like crack.
Yeah,
like that's the moment where it's like, all right, I'm never out
getting out of this guy's shadow ever.
Yeah.
He's literally putting shadow on me at my coronation.
I literally just got that as you were saying it. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm literally under his shadow. Literally.
And I'm being crowned king of the greatest land in all the lands, which I've been meaning to say this earlier, and I don't think I said it previously. Assuming these movies are shot in India, India is a beautiful ass country.
Think about the amount that's CGI. Like, probably a lot of the big landscapes that you're seeing are CGI. A lot of the ancient stuff is CGI.
All right,
I would guess, but there's probably also some. But I mean, the jungles of India are also very.
It could have been enhanced. Could have been enhanced. Maybe have some colors being made slightly brighter or something like that. India is a pretty big place. Bottom line is, if it's CGI, cool, good job with the graphics. If it's India, also cool. It's probably some combination of the both. Beautiful landscapes and shit in this movie.
Yes. For sure.
Yes. But yeah, you got the fucking decapitation in court where the dude was like groping people, and she's like, he was gonna grope me, so I cut off his fucking fingers. Oh yeah, it was after he got demoted from the baby shower. You had that new guy be made general, and so he's like, I'm just gonna piss off Davidina and do it.
Right? Yeah, she got him demoted again to literally just a private citizen.
Which made the citizens, you talked about him just motivating people, making them at ease. All the people are like, wait, he's not in the castle? No. God lives among us now. It's perfect. Yeah! Party! And this nigga's he's a genius as well when it comes to technology. He like mines for a day, and he's like, there's an easier way to do this. Machinery.
brings water to a farmland once and is like, no, we're gonna do this better. Yeah, like literally, it's like they have a problem, I fix it. He is.
and it's
He's
in fast time because his wife's still pregnant with the first kid with like the entire period. So it's all within 9 months that he's like fixing all these problems with the common folk and just giving them coming up with new technology and building it to workable fashion where you got assembly lines for the mining in the span of 9 months. He's ridiculous.
Yep.
But yeah,
I mean, faster than that. Faster than that, because he refers. He's only out there in the village for about 3 months at the most, because he refers to his wife as being in her final
trimester.
Her final thing of birth in the courtroom before he gets banished. So they're only out there for 3 months, and he invents two very complex giant machines to completely revolutionize their way of life. Like, you should have moved out there sooner.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So that leads us right into Shivudu's birth,
yeah,
and his father's death.
Yeah,
which, even though I know it's coming, it was impactful. Like, the actor who plays Katapa does an amazing job, and I really feel it.
Oh yeah, they hit you in the feels so hard. Like early on, he's like, "You're gonna be okay." He's like, "I've got you with me. I don't have to worry about. No one can ever touch me if I got you with me. We good." And he's like, because he goes to like save him, which is a trap or whatever. But he's like, "You're not worried? No, you're here. We good." Blocks all those arrows with his back, like at one point, just all this shit. And you see Katapa like, "Oh God, please stop. Leave me alone. Leave me and run. Please. I don't
get away from me."
Yes, please. Nah, man. I can't. You the G, man. You're like a dad to me. I know you say, because he literally is like, him and the wife, him and Devasina literally tell him, like, we consider you a father to us.
Yeah, neither of us have fathers. It's her family's tradition for the first person to hold the baby to be the grandfather. We don't have no grandfathers. Will you hold the baby? That was the first one that, like, oh, it got me. And when they just asked him to do it, and then
when he explained why he
couldn't, because Bahubali's that dude. He's that dude.
And when he explained why he couldn't leave him, he's like, "Trust me, the way I feel right now, I probably would leave you and walk away, but I can't. My wife says she needs you to hold the baby over her head, so I gotta come out here and do my job. Right. I gotta come out here and do my job. It's okay though. We got this. We family." And then they had the fight scene where they're doing their fucking typical, let me just throw a weapon over my shoulder, he'll perfectly catch it and slice him, because we're just that in sync. And then the realization sinks in on Katapa, like, this is the only moment where I can do this, even though I don't want to do this. I have to do this. Hoping somebody else is gonna kill him so that I don't have to do it myself. Ain't gonna work. As he said, as long as I'm here to like fight back, no one's going to touch him. And so he goes up, the stab. Why? Royal decree. They told us to do it. Fair enough. Hopefully my mom's okay. Look after my mom. Hail Mahishmati, and I'm out.
Most epic death pose. It's so good. It's so good. I was like, is he gonna be able to figure out how to do this? How's he not gonna crumple? And I believed it. What he got himself set up in and in the position, I believed it. I was like, yeah, That's until somebody fucks with him, he's there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
it was rough. And then what the fucking king does afterwards is gross and awful, and you really like he it just cementing in the evil.
I did this. Literally just squats over him. I did this and can't nobody do shit about it.
Just chopping an axe into his chest.
And
like,
then he just and that's when Katapa goes to the Queen Mother. He's like, first off, he shows the blood on his hands. Like, this is Bahubali's blood. And then he literally puts it on her hands to symbolize his blood.
He's done playing at that moment.
Is on your
He's
hands
fucking
and
done.
mine.
Yeah.
How do we watch this off? By the way, you were wrong. What? No. You were fucking wrong. They played us. They played everybody. Now he's dead, and we gotta deal with it. Which is extra powerful because he doesn't talk up to nobody the entire time. He's the only. I heard that man refer to himself as a slave more than I heard anyone else call him a slave.
Yep.
In these movies, and he said,
"Do you want to do this?" Oh no, I can't. I'm a slave.
we want you to do this. I can't. I'm a slave. You think I'm a father, but I'm just a slave. You can't treat me like a father figure. But so he put himself in his own little space for a long time, but he knew, no, you gotta hear it. Facts is facts, and we've been played. And then obviously baby, gets born and shit, and Baladeva comes in like, I'm gonna fucking kill ya, but you better make the right decision. Announce me as king. The people want to know what happened to Bali. You better tell them something. And so she goes out there.
The Queen Mother, I mean, her moment of begging for forgiveness at Devisana's feet.
Also true.
That might be the highlight of what is a great performance. So I just wanted to mention that it was getting me. But yeah, like you said, at one point in her forgiveness, she's just like, what possible could I do to even begin? And then yeah, the second the brother calls for her to go out onto that balcony and reaffirm that he's king and Bahubali's dead, she's like, oh, okay, I know what I can do to start to make amends.
I got you, fam. Takes the kid out there, and she's just like, Bahubali, like, Amahindra Bahubali is dead, and your king is, holds up baby, Mahindra Bahubali.
I think we see one person just kind of repeat that to themselves. Mahindra Bahubali. Bahubali, baby!
This is like, well, yeah. Now what? I just said he's just straight up king, not when he gets to a certain age. No, nothing. So theoretically, he's untouchable. Obviously, Baladeva's not going to stand for that. He gets her.
It goes off.
And she runs. She takes the baby, is about to escape when he shoots her in the back with an arrow, knocking her into the water, as he then chains Devasina up in the town square.
And then that story leads to what we saw at the very opening of Bahubali, the beginning.
Yeah, we know why she had an arrow in her back.
And that wraps up the past story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we got to around that part or around the betrayal, I'm like, this movie's been going on a long time. Is he just gonna walk up to dude and just punch him in the face and end it? Because we're spending a lot more in the past than I thought we would. Which is, I'm not complaining, but I was just like, what final battle is there gonna be? Is it gonna be like, I'm Bahubali now? Sup? No. That's not what we got. We got in Final Fight, which yeah. Back to modern day, dude accepts his role as new king, rather instantly, gives a speech like, you let these motherfuckers know Bahubali is back, and we're gonna take the fucking castle ASAP. And the fucking tree of dead people that got struck by lightning, I forget when that was. I forget if that was Daddy Bahubali or the other one, where he just lifted the tree for like cool iconography and then just lightning strike. That might have been old Bahubali right before he died. That might have been where the fire came from in the background. But that was just a cool ass moment. Like, what the fuck? Damn.
Yep.
But now we get ready. He's attacking the city. He gets an army instantly of just enough people to be like, this is what we're doing. We're going after the city. They're like, we don't have enough weapons. We'll figure it out. And
gives his version of his dad's level up speech. Exactly. Not as quite as powerful. Like, you know, he is not as powerful as his dad. I think we're intentionally shown that, because I mean his dad was raised to be the greatest man in the world, and Bahubali 2 has only been doing this for a couple weeks. Otherwise, he's just been a dude who's lived at the base of a waterfall trying to climb that waterfall. It was basically his entire life.
He's the guy who ignored TLC's song.
Yeah. Praying to Shiva.
He went climbing a waterfall.
Yes.
But yeah, we get the final battle. You got the fucking them shooting. The way they tried to launch into the city once the fucking drawbridge.
When Katapa's like start thinking like Bahubali. Stop thinking like just some stupid dude.
Yeah, because he tried to jump after the drawbridge when it came up and got shot by an arrow.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, the entrance into the castle I had seen before on just kind of like a clip show, like a YouTube clip of like ridiculous movie moments. It is out of control. I need a hammer. It is absolutely one of those peak Rajamouli moments.
And the launching of the people on the palm trees into the shield.
Into a synchronized ring of shield.
Yeah, and then they always land, like the majority of them, except for the one involving the main character. All the other ones seem to land perfectly on their feet and bounce into battle. Like I said, like the first one,
if you look closely on one of the big epic shots that goes from really wide into close on to the castle wall, there are two that smack short directly into the wall of the castle and just fall to the ground.
That's even better. That's even better. But one of the things that caught me before all of that, when the battle was first going on, was the return of the death chariot.
I commented out loud by myself in my family room, Omari's gonna love the return of the death chariot. It's a triple death chariot now. And quadruple if you count the arrow shooting that it can do now.
Like, oh god, the death chariot's back. But then, yeah, they get into the thing, the launching into the city, the dude going, I need a hammer, breaking the train to drop the drawbridge and riding the drawbridge down, and then he goes and he solos the death chariot. He solos the death chariot in fucking boss ass fashion. Like I said, he's like, well, based on the fact that I apparently look exactly like this dude, I know what I'm capable of. I'm his son. And the second you said think like Bahubali, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna turn into him and be like that ridiculous. Yeah. Just starts doing shit. The fight between the two of them, ridiculous. The fucking knee drop off of the thing where he jumps and he cocks back his leg like extra in the air to make sure he gets like the point of the knee right in the armor. and dents it in. Which is still hilarious when you said that off screen before that he like consulted like the Undertaker as one of his body like.
Yeah, I was just reading that in the trivia facts that he met with some WWE wrestlers of the time, including the Undertaker, to talk about different health regimens and bulking techniques and fighting techniques. This is very interesting.
Which is great based on your point in the previous episode that he reminded you of like giant style wrestlers in his fighting style. So
yeah, the younger one in particular.
Yeah.
Because I think they intentionally made him look less refined than his dad. And so it's a lot of just kind of like forearm clubs,
even when the younger gets his Dynasty Warriors moment, it's a lot of him moving and just clothesline. Clothesline.
It's still less refined. Yeah, it's just a lot of him like picking up things, throwing them, and a lot of that.
But then we get to like the climax of the fight between the two of them, where
he sent his mom on the fire walk of doom in some sort of tradition that they used to do back in the day a lot. We see Queen Mother doing it at one point in some ceremony.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with
the flashbacks,
crowning the new kings or something like that. You got to walk a certain distance and do things. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just kind of glazed over it with the whole Shibagami's a badass. I forgot that's why. Her fucking long ass walk. And then I'm like, and so is Bahubali apparently, because a fucking elephant gets in there and he just goes out of nowhere.
That's during some of those bits before like the romance starts that I was telling you that just kind of feels like it bleeds together.
But yeah, they got Davisita redoing that walk. Only this time she gets ready. They set a bridge on fire so she can't finish it. Because when she finishes it, she's gonna light that funeral pyre she mentioned in the first movie. And Bahubali's like, go ahead and do it. By the time you get here, he'll be ready to be burned. And they're like, well, she ain't gonna get there. Daddy Weird Hands like, she's not gonna get there because we're gonna set the bridge on fire. And so Bahubali and Baladeva are fighting each other so fucking hard they break Baladeva's statue and the head falls down perfectly to break the bridge
so that she can walk right across his stupid face. In order to cross the stream and get to the funeral pyre. And
by then, Baladeva's brought out his extendo mace from the previous thing, which is a Dynasty Warriors ass weapon in and of itself.
Yeah, like I've never seen one that's just an actual that's just actually a ball, like no hammer type shape to it, or like you said, if it's a mace, like small, like that big and on just on a stick, just like a big ball on a stick.
There's ball on a stick. I've seen ball on a stick, but to extend and retract with like some kind of mechanical feature, that is what makes it video game anime Dynasty Warrior shit. Yeah. He's like, but he comes out and then Bahubali, Mahendra Bahubali the younger is like, well, I'm not the best with the sword, but I tell you what I do got. I got these chains and I got these fists. So it's chain fist versus extendo mace. And he starts beating the shit out this dude with his chain fist. And eventually stabbing him through the foot in the funeral pyre just in time for Davisita to get there. He's like, and the whole time, the whole movie, Baladeva's like, Davisita, come on, just marry me. That guy's dead.
At one point we even get a monologue from him of like, I thought I wanted the throne, I thought I wanted to kill my brother, I thought all these things. Turns out what I really want to do in this world is just have you chained up and tortured. Like just a really fucked up monologue from him.
He's like,
just,
now
if you haven't thought that this dude is full evil yet, we're gonna have this monologue where he literally says his I'm king of the most powerful land we know, and my only joy in life is watching you be tortured every day.
It's like, now that's what I got. I got torture in you. But he's like, tries to plead with her one last time. She ain't
Join
hearing
me.
it. She ain't hearing it. She burns his ass. He dies. Everything's epic. We get the fucking sign off like it thinks. And, cool. Movie over. Vengeance got. And then the credits start. Before the credits roll, or as the credits are rolling, we just cut to the head of the statue having washed down the river and down a waterfall to break on the statue that he put in the waterfall. And I'm like, all right. Because at first I'm like, why are we following this head?
It was an odd choice because it was also some of the worst CGI we've had so far. Like the shadows and highlights on the statue never changed, no matter where it spun in the water. So it literally just like looked like a piece of clip art. It felt weird. It felt very random. But I guess if that was the visual that he wanted to end on, was that gold head shattering just next to the Shiva statue. I can get wanting to execute that vision.
Yeah. But that's Bahubali 2's conclusion. You got anything else you want to talk about for a movie that popped up that stands out to you?
No, I think we hit it all that I wanted to talk about.
All right. Well, there you have it. Bahubali 2. What are your thoughts, I guess? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts are I really enjoyed it. I liked it better than the first one. Despite not really digging the songs in the musical. This is probably my least liked songs inside of a Rajamouli film. Even though the score is still very interesting and enjoyable, the songs in the musical numbers in particular is what didn't really grab me. But otherwise, I was captivated by the chaos of the family dynamic there in the third quarters to the end of the original Bahubali timeline, and really enjoyed this movie. It's still not RRR, but I had a great time.
Yeah, that's kind of a similar feel to what I have. I said RRR is still my favorite of the three, primarily because it's the whole story in one sitting. That helps. Well, maybe not primarily, but that helps a lot. That said, I do love both of these movies as well. I was kind of hoping for more focus on second Bahu back in the present, to focus more on the vengeance quest aspect of it. But it worked. And original Bahubali is still like that dude, and he's just awesome anyway. Outside of their family's weird ways of courtship, which still work for them, and if it works for you, I guess that's what matters. You want to tattoo somebody underwater and hide in a tree and tattoo them. If it works, it works, I guess. You want to pretend you're reverse Aladdin for no reason apparent. If it works, it works. Who am I to judge? Because outside of that, the characters, pretty much almost always had like the right decisions in the right moments to do the right thing. And they're just awesome, which seems to just be the case of a lot of Rajamouli's characters, at least starting with Bahubali. Is they're awesome. Deal with it. Enjoy the movie. And I do. So yeah, I do like all three. I'm very thankful that we did watch it.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I am too. I very much enjoyed my time, and I do not think it's going to be the last Tollywood film I watch.
Same. That said, what are we watching next week, Bill?
Next week we are watching Hollywood Hustle, but I'm not recommending
Hustle
it.
or
I
Shuffle?
haven't seen it. What?
Hustle or Shuffle?
Hollywood Hustle or Hollywood Shuffle? That's how much. That's how much we don't know. That's how much you know that we didn't watch it.
I know it's
I'm
Robert Townsend.
Yeah,
That's
you just
about it.
fill. You just fill right here.
Yeah.
Hollywood Shuffle. What did I say?
Shuffle. You said Hustle.
I said hustle. I thought you said hustle.
You said Hustle. You said Hustle twice.
You said hustle. I said shuffle.
You said Hustle. I asked if it was Hustle or Shuffle, and then you said we don't know, and then you asked me to fill while you looked it up, and then you tried
Hustle?
to make it seem like you said. At the beginning. Bottom line is, neither of us suggested it. Clearly, we're watching that next week, though. So if neither of us suggested it, and it wasn't suggested by comments, who suggested it?
Not Jazz.
Oh shit! You're right.
Not Jizz.
Why? Anyway, speaking.
Jay-Z. John Zepp. We've also had on the show. Is that Jazz or Jizz?
Speaking of jazz. Sorry, I almost went. Speaking of jazz, I had to stop myself. Speaking of jazz, if you want to find me, obviously you can find other videos of our own on this channel. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube doing videos with Super Jazz, whatever we want.
Stupid Jazz.
Every week, every
I had to say it
Wednesday.
slow because they cut off my stupid last time.
Fair. Oh, because you was like, bitches. Yeah, every week, every Wednesday on the Whatever We Want podcast. You can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in.
Come on in. Stop on by.
Thank you very much. Bill, you got anything you want to say to the folks? Any shout outs or anything like that?
No.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week with Hollywood Shuffle. Adiosness.
Hustle?
Oh, my God.